Yo, what is up, you guys? It's K8 here, and we're gonna make a new making a track from scratch series. So this is the setup video, basically showing you how I like to set up my session before I start doing any kind of writing at all. And I'm gonna try to do this differently than the last times I've done a making a track from scratch series. We're gonna try to just like split the videos up into smaller parts, so that way you can just look through a playlist and just watch the parts you want to watch. And I'll try to upload 2 a day, so I was thinking about just uploading the whole series all together at once, but then I figured just to kind of give you guys some time with it, just release 2 a day for like a week or something, and that should be good. So let's just get started with that. Alright, so now we're in Ableton, and you can see this is for the most part an empty session. This is what I open up Ableton to. This is my default template. So if we go to our preferences, that is just file folder, save current set as default, and I made this set a long time ago and I just use it as my Ableton default. So instead of opening to a blank session with absolutely nothing in it, I just already have like a kick track going, a couple sends, my Masterchain, and yeah, that way I can just build on top of this and then just save that project and continue using this as my default. So I think that's really important to just get those things out of the way. So gain structure is really important to make sure that at the end of our mix we have headroom and nothing's clipping and everything is kind of mixed in properly. So for me, kind of oversimplifying in a nutshell what gain structure is, it's just mixing the most important elements in louder, and then of course vice versa, the least important elements down lower. So in dance music genres, or EDM, I hate using that term, but you get what I mean. In that kind of music, usually the kick drum is the most important element in the track, meaning that has to be the loudest. Second to that would be vocals, and third would be whatever leads are occurring during that time. So since the kick is gonna typically always be the loudest, and in my tracks the kick is always mixed in the loudest, by setting that volume at -9 dB at the beginning of our session, that means that everything else we add in from here on out is gonna follow the gain structure after the kick. So the kick is the loudest thing, that's mixed 9 dB down, so everything else will be mixed like -12 dB down, and just kind of following a structure like that in terms of how loud the gain will be. So because we gain structure like that, that's why I'm able to use a master chain. I wouldn't really call it a mastering chain, it's just a chain on my masters, so that way I can do quick bounces, compare whatever I've got going on in here to a professionally done mix in my car or something. So when I turn off my master chain on my tracks, the mix sounds exactly the same, it's just quieter, and that's really the way you should use it. So it's just really only to make it louder. Alright, so let's actually get into what's in this thing. So I do have a rack here of 3 multi-band compressors, and what this is really doing, it's not for compression or anything like that, it's just to separate the overall mix into 3 sections of low, mid, high frequencies. And basically I just make the higher frequencies wider and the lower frequencies mono. So like everything beneath 200 Hertz would be mono, and everything higher and would just be a little wider. So I'm not actually going to use this. I stopped using this a while ago because it can make things when you're writing a little bit weird. I won't really go into it, but this is something I do decide to use at the end or in the mixing process. So for now, we'll turn that off. If you want to see a full video on this, like how to make this rack and why I use it additionally, I'll just link that down below for you to watch. But we're going to just delete this. I can add this back in later if I want to. So really what my chain is just 4 plugins. So we have a compressor, another compressor, which is just a Ableton settings of catch peaks. So this is the glue compressor on the catch peak settings. You can probably tell what that's for. Then we have an EQ after that, the variety of sound boot EQ, really good EQ. Not really using it to do anything yet. This is, again, I might add a dB of high shelf or low shelf at the end of the session, but right now it's just kind of default. And this plugin just has really nice color to it, so it just, the added bonus of using a really great plugin is it just sounds good. It makes everything sound a little bit warmer, a little bit nicer. And then after that we have a sausage fatter just to limit this. So instead of using a limiter with like a threshold, like an ozone or a L2 or something like that, the kind of plugins that have thresholds, you just kind of want to pull those thresholds down and brick wall your mix. And That's not what we're trying to do here. I just want to limit this. I just want this to be loud. I don't want it actually to sound compressed or limited or anything like that. So now let's go back to the beginning of the chain into the Density Mark III. So this is also made by Variety of Sound, same company that makes this EQ. This compressor rig here is really only here to do one thing, and that's just to make our mix way freaking louder than it's supposed to be. So we're not really doing a lot of compressing or anything like that. I think the maximum I get is like 6 dB of gain reduction in the loudest parts. And right here we just throw up the makeup gain to make this over the top loud, and that's just what I do. It's basically, if you need it to be louder, you can just add gain to it. And as long as you have dynamics and dynamic range and headroom, you can just keep making it louder. So that's everything in that chain end for part 1, and click down below for part 2 and for the playlist. So see you guys in the next one.